gonna love this.
I want to hear it. I'm objective. You're critical.
Anico at the disco.
He's positive. Join the Mixtape 615.
Today, tomorrow, yesterday,
It is the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville.
forever. Testing, 1, 2, 3, baby. This is a Mixtape 615 podcast, and you already know this is the place to be. Yo, check this out. You a Nashville Soccer Club fan, or you just trying to see what's going on with the boys in gold? I invite you to lock in with us real quick. Yo, it's your boy, Young Tunji, a.k.a. the youngest turtle in the room, the soccer face, SF Doom, the big owner, munching on a little tuna sandwich, the DR kid, affectionately known as Steam Papi. Yamame, por favor. Yo, Wednesday, you know where I was at. I was over at Southside watching them boys blank Cincy at home. But I digress. You can also call me the dude sipping on Mai Tais on the beaches in Belize, feeling cool like a summer breeze. I'll be walking down Broadway with the cleanest pair of Nikes as you ever did see, the golden boy with the golden voice, also known as Chicago Mike, the Glizzy Gladiator. And we are back with another riveting episode, another riveting podcast. We're going to talk about some great things today. Logan, tell them who you are.
All right, guys, you know who it is. It's Logan, a.k.a. Beer Main, a.k.a. Mr. Carson, a.k.a. Allegedly, if you know, you know. And Shea Soma is back on the podcast with us. Shea, introduce yourself. Give us your a.k.a.s.
All right. Thank you for having me back, guys. It is Shea, a.k.a. Soma Toast, a.k.a. your favorite agent. And once again, not allegedly. And I'm proud to go to bed knowing that.
Well, this is the Mixtape 615 podcast, brought to you by the Mixtape 615 supporter group, the dopest supporter group in all of Nashville, in all of soccer, in all of the world. And it has been an exciting week in soccer. From everything from Nick Dupuy apparently going to Memphis 901 FC, Depay, going to Memphis 901 FC, to leading up to the UCL championship. We are excited about all the news that goes on in soccer, but we're bringing it all the way back to Nashville because we've got a little bit of a game rewind, actually a double bit of a match rewind to get into.
You say a double bit? Nice.
Hey, we got a double match rewind, guys. We just had 2 away road games, one last Saturday, one on Wednesday night, against Cincinnati, and then of course the latter being Montreal. It was a fun time in Cincinnati for sure, and I want us to dive right into that one, guys. 2-0 win against the number 2 team in the East. Give me your reaction, Shea.
Hey, you have to be excited. Winning at Cincinnati. I lived in Cincinnati. Their fan base was incredible in the USL. Their fan base is incredible now. Bringing that energy home. We haven't seen that all year. You gotta be positive going forward. It looks like Nashville's get right back into the swing of things.
Oh yeah, awesome, man. Now, Tunji, you and I were watching it together. Give me your instant reactions again, because I've already seen those, but I need it now.
It's always gonna be forget Cincinnati. That team is awful. I hate them.
What?
I hate them, bro. I'm gonna drop like 5 diss tracks on them back to back, like Kendrick did Drake, dude. But either way, I always love watching Cincinnati go down in a flaming bonfire that they are, man. Oh my gosh, dude, that felt so good. I needed that, yo. I needed that. Oh my goodness.
Well, it was great to see that. I know we had a lot of attacks in the Montreal game as well, but we had a solid header. Jack Maher finally looking solid, I think, for the first time like this year. I think as soon as we got rid of Gary, it's like his confidence came through. Give me a little bit more of your reaction on what you saw from him. Obviously, his header in. Tunji.
What, like you talking about Jack? I mean, look,
yeah,
I think I love the fact that Jack is getting more involved in the offense. Well, if basically what we saw
Jack attack, if you will,
the Jack attack, the big Jack. No, basically what we saw is, I think Joe Willis mentioned this after the game, but a lot of the things that we saw yesterday, after or during that game, was that they're obviously being a lot more aggressive. They're being a lot more when they're making these passes. He said they were working on breaking the passes that break the opponent's lines. We saw some of that come through in this match. We didn't see that come through in Montreal. That was a tough one to watch. Wasn't a lot going on, but there was so much happening. I don't know if this is just like an isolated incident. Don't really care if it is. I'm going to celebrate the fact that we beat Cincinnati at home. These guys, Denzel on Twitter said it the best. He said, "Screw these guys, man. They thought they had a dynasty. They haven't won anything yet.
Exactly.
But like they're coming. They're looking at us with their noses up. I'm like, you guys had 3 years of wooden spoons before you got any type of success. All right, just because we stumbled out the gate this year doesn't mean that we're on your level yet. So I don't know, man. It was really cool to see. Another thing that I saw, Hany Mukhtar, man, the way that Roomba is using or getting Hany Mukhtar to again be the focal point of our attack, but in a different way than it was when Gary was here. Now I don't know if this is all Roomba or Hany's just figuring stuff out. It brought a tear to my eye when he did that last, the second goal. He held up the play, he looked around, he let 4 defenders focus their attention on him, and then what did he do? He passed it off the shaft. Instead of trying to take a wild shot or do something that just was ill-advised. Like, he understood his role fine, at least right now. His role right now in this Roomba Muthali play scheme is to be the guy that like is again moving the play forward. He's getting our forwards open, our strikers open, and he's giving them perfect passes. He's not trying to take on the whole world by himself like I feel like he used to do.
Yeah.
Whenever, especially when we're playing bad. So we're seeing we saw some really good things from Hany last night, man.
Well, speaking of Hany, Hany Mukhtar, 2022 MVP and Golden Boot winner. And then you also had Acosta last night, who is the 2023 was he the 2023 MVP, right? Yeah. So the 2023 MVP, both on the pitch. However, Hany Mukhtar, according to the stat sheets, what they showed us in the game, had more created chances. So do you feel like out of the 2 MVPs rocking next to each other, do you feel like Hany is the better one of the 2?
They're different players. And Nashville is built to stop a guy like Acosta. I don't know if this game was a fluke, but when you can have those goal-scoring forwards that aren't just, I would say Acosta can score. He's a goal scorer, but the reality is Mukhtar is the guy that you would rather have put the ball in the back of the net, I think, with a game on the line. And those are the kind of guys that can put a team on their shoulders. And I'm not surprised. We might sound surprised now just because of the way the season started. But if you had asked us at any point in time over the last 2 years the same question, I don't think it would show a surprise. I think we're just getting finally what we expected. And I think it's important to remember what Mike Jacobs has said. Like, they just needed a new voice. Now, there's still a lot of problems to fix. But sometimes you need you need something to patch the team until you plug in a new coach, and whoever's saying the things behind the scenes is saying the right things to give this team a new boost of confidence.
Yeah, they needed it, man. It's we kind of thought that it's crazy to see this result. What was this? Is this Roomba's second game as interim coach?
Third game.
Yeah, because it was Atlanta,
so Montreal, and now Cincy.
For me, like, what's the big difference between the Montreal match and I guess even the Atlanta match with this one? Did you guys feel like things clicked for Nashville this match? Or
I think some of it was just from what I saw is that both Atlanta and in Montreal, we played a 4-4-2. We played a very basic, that is what you learn early on, is a 4-4-2. You know what position you're playing in. You're playing something very basic. So I didn't see a lot of chances created in the Atlanta match. I think it was more let's get through this and we can try and work through next week. I think the Montreal was okay. Let me see how I can fit these people in. Show me what you've got. And then I think this one was okay. Now that I've seen where we're at, we set up the what was it? The 4-2-3-1. So we set up a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, it was a 4-2-3-1, which we've talked about the 4-2-3-1 on this podcast before. It seems to be the killer formation for Nashville when they get it right and everyone's healthy.
That is now the first time we've used a 4-2-3-1 this year that I know of.
No, we used it earlier this year and we lost. I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, every time we used it last year, I think you said we had 7 times that we started out in a 4-2-3-1. Yep. And we won all 7 of those matches in a 4-2-3-1, and it was spread out over the course of the year. So this being, a solid win for us, it very well could be when we have all of our players healthy, when we have all of our team there, that this is the attacking style that we need, because we have a solid defense to hold us up, and we have those 2 dropping midfielders. So we kind of have that tale of 2 sides, if you will, a solid defense with a solid attack.
Hey, Mixtape 615, are you ready for the 2024 season? We want you to join our supporters group. It is the dopest supporters group in all of Nashville. So sign up right now at mixtape615.com and rock your 2024 membership scarf so you can show off and say, we run this pitch. Imagine standing on the field, feeling the energy of the game close up, all of the energy of the stadium. That's a reality for our members. You can get on-field opportunities, plus get access to our tailgates where you'll bond with fellow fans over great food, soccer passion, and don't miss out on our epic away game watch parties. So sign up now, mixtape615.com, and join for the 2024 season.
Yeah, the defense is getting back to where they're, I don't want to say they're getting back to where they were last year, but if you look at
where we want them to be,
where we want them to be, right? You look at the last 6 matches, right? I mean, we got 2 shutouts in these last 6 matches, and then the other games the teams have only scored one goal in there. So it kind of, when you look at sort of this win against Cincy, you kind of like, dang, did Nashville let go of Gary too early, or is Roomba and the team kind of are like, I don't know the answer to that. I feel like no, it was the right time. It definitely was the right time to let Gary go. I don't think that this win would, I don't know. I don't want to say that if Gary was here, we would or would not have gotten this win. I think regardless, yes, dude, you had to let Gary go. There's a new direction this team needs to go in. But I mean, the guy, before he left, he said, look, man, I'm gonna get us back into playoff contention, and we're right back in playoff contention. And we did it in style by going 2 up in the first half on Cincinnati, so it's
within 5 minutes of each other.
Yeah, no, it was great, man. We were in Southside Kitchen and Pub doing me and you and Breon's son were doing the Cristiano Ronaldo Sue celebration every time they scored. Yeah, I haven't had that much fun watching Nashville in like, golly, bro.
A minute, man. Months? It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, man.
I think the last time we even had somewhat close to that kind of fun was the Colorado match.
Colorado match.
Yeah, man. And it was a 1-1 draw, but at least it was like chippy, and it was still kind of playing in, and that was
bro.
That was
I think it was the last time we played
before that.
It was when we played Montreal on the oh, you mean for away games. I got you.
Yeah, away matches.
May the 4th.
May the 4th was in stadium goals. Though, man.
Yeah, that was fun. But multiple goals scored for Nashville is always good, man. I'm excited to see. I'm gonna throw a hot take out there, man.
All right, let's hear it.
You want my hot take?
Tunji's takes. Let's see it.
It's spicy, bro. It's spicy. Elongate or take as long as you need, Mike Jacobs, on the head coach search, because I think your interim head coach, even though we don't know a lot about him or what he can do as a head coach, I truly believe, and I'm saying this on air, I'm like, I think he might be cooking, man. He might be good. You see him on the sideline, right? You see him on the sideline, and he looks confident, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Even when they're not doing so well, he has that game face. He has that war face on.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's rubbing off on the players or not.
Yeah, we saw from 2016 to last year. He was working with KC, Sporting KC, and he had 12 players that were promoted through their system up into their number one team. And so he knows how to, make sure that their players make it to the league where they're at. And, KC is not historically has not been a easy team to beat. So
yeah, they're a lot easier these days. They're a lot easier these last couple of years, but I would say the thing about him is, yes, he can get players from, youth to the league. I think the biggest thing with him that I'm seeing in this position he's in right now is he's really actually finding ways to get the most out of these players, which is a big criticism that we had in our last head coach. Hany would disappear for periods on end. In the last two games, we've seen the whole offense is not only, yes, it's rotating around Hany, but not in the way that it used to. Like Hany he's opening things up for other people. And I feel like, remember back in the day when I was like, man, this guy's playing light years ahead of the rest of the team.
That was,
I feel like he's bringing them with him now. Yeah. I feel like he's bringing them with him now. I mean, I'm gonna just say it again. Let's let Roomba cook for a little bit. Cause I'm liking the progression in the last three games.
All right. Well, Shea, you've obviously you played soccer growing up. You've been around the game for a while as an agent. What are your thoughts on a coaching change like this when it comes to having an interim coach that the players know, at least over the last year, they've gotten to know them? Do you feel like that's automatic ends with those players? Is this a good thing for the team? Is this somewhere that could fall on the wayside? What are your thoughts on just where we're at when it comes to Roomba mentality?
I would say traditionally interim coaches give a boost. I don't know if you can point straight at the coach. We're going to talk about a coach later that gave a U.S. team a boost when he stepped in. So from my point of view, I don't know if he's changing much other than the morale of the team. So, you might have some players who felt a little down with Gary. Maybe Gary wasn't supportive of them, and sometimes that's all.
Jack Maher.
So sometimes, excuse me, guys. Oh. Sometimes
it's all of us have cats.
Ridiculous. Sometimes that's all it takes, right? So from an agent perspective, and I will say now I've presented a coach to Gary, but I know what's going through his head is they want a coach that can keep the culture of the club, that can fit with the current roster. He's coming in mid-season. They want, Nashville wants to win now. So I think, again, they're not looking to change anything. They're just looking to someone to say the right things to the players and give them hope. And if you look at Gary, I mean, he's a nice guy, right? But, in the MLS, it's not defense wins championships. I hate to be the one to say that. You look at the past cup winners, guys, like Columbus Crew tore it up offensively last year. Atlanta, when they won the cup, did. Toronto, when they won the cup. LAFC. I mean, you
defense
have to
wins
look.
Championships in American football, and that's about it.
Defense will get you to the playoffs in the MLS. And that's still a problem for Nashville. And I'll leave you with this is last time I was on the show, we talked about expected goals, right? It was 4 and conceding. Nashville's improved in both categories, right?
Correct.
Defensively, they have improved a ton. They were bottom 3 in both categories before. Now they're middle of the pack on goals conceded, expected goals conceded. And you see that in the results. Mm-hmm. Offensively, they're still bottom 5. They're up. Take it with a grain of salt. They're still bottom 5. So I think when you're to answer your question as a coach is you got to find a guy that can fit with the roster and make the necessary changes where Gary was falling short. So right now they're not doing that. They're just looking to keep the ball rolling until they can put the right puzzle piece in.
Well, let me say this about the game last night, because I'm not done talking about this game, and I got some more. I got some more things to just kind of drive home. A bus trip to Cincinnati, $88. Tickets to the game, around $30.
43.
The look on Cincinnati FC Cincinnati supporters' faces
the
in the Bailey when we went up 2-0 in the 25th or 26th minute
29th.
29th, priceless.
Oh,
absolutely priceless. Like I'm telling you, bro. Oh my goodness, man. Let me put this out there. Drew Yearwood and Brian Anunga starting in the midfield. Secret sauce or no?
No, absolutely not. I think Drew Yearwood, yes. Brian Anunga, I love the guy, but no.
Hey, bro, he didn't do. Honestly, the two guys that started that I kind of clenched up a little bit when I saw the starting lineups. Teal Bunbury and Brian Anunga. They didn't play lights out perfect, but they weren't as bad. They really weren't, man. Now, obviously, of those two, of those guys, Drew Yearwood had the best game out of all of them. I mean, he's pretty much the reason that, or a big part of the reason we got that second goal.
Absolutely.
He's coming along, man. I remember he started the year. We were very shaky. I was just kind of like, oh, what's going on with this guy? But Drew Yearwood is starting to be the person. He's starting to be one of the most reliable parts of our team.
It's that midfielder that we need. Him
that we deserve.
And obviously, Tyler Boyd, when he came on, he did exactly what we needed him to do. The only thing he didn't do, which I was hoping, because he was so close, was score a goal. But
yeah, you know who also almost scored a goal and blew it up? Muil, Alex Muil.
I mean, I was waiting for you to say it. He gives and he takes,
man. He gives and he takes, bro.
He's always in the perfect position.
Yeah.
That means it's just what he does with it, right?
I'm telling you, he just needs a few more of those terrible plays that he had last night, and then he's gonna put one in, and we'll be
on his side again. Absolutely.
It's a pattern, bro. It's a pattern.
I'll say this to wrap up our time when it comes to Montreal and Cincy. When it comes to Montreal, the only French thing I know how to say, omelette du fromage. And then when it comes to our boys in Cincinnati, hey, everyone in the Bailey, Skyline ain't chilly. And on that note, we've got some coaching rumors coming up. Some U.S. assistants possibly. There's some USL or USL coaches that we might want to talk at. Maybe some former American national players. There's a lot out there that we need to talk about, because there's some definite rumors when it comes to our coaching replacement to come in and replace Gary Smith, and more on that next.
You guys know I'll be too lit on Wednesdays at Southside Kitchen Pub, but it does not have to be a Wednesday for you to get too lit with me at any of our away watch parties. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Mixtape615 for all watch party information, so you can get in the mix with us, me, Logan, and Ginger Snap. Let's go. I'm back. I'm doing the segment here. All right, guys?
Hey, what are you? I thought it was
no. This is my segment.
See, this is why we need Austin.
Yeah, we just fight. Yeah, what are you doing, Shay? You got to regulate us, man.
Come on.
All right, so obviously we've got some. It's all right, bro. Obviously we've got some rumors to address. We talked about it a little bit in the last podcast, right? And I've got some thoughts, and I'm just gonna put them out there. For all of you that are saying that BJ Callahan is gonna be the guy that you want to take over Nashville SC, you've got worms in your brains. Okay, let me tell you, this is not. It's not a good. I don't know why this rumor is persisting. I don't know why it's out there. It doesn't need to be out there. He's not the guy, and I'll tell you why, dude. Like, he doesn't have any experience. He has little to no experience. I know when Austin was here last time, he was saying, like, maybe that's what we need. No, we don't need that, man. Like, we need someone who can actually get a full understanding of Nashville SC and where they're at, and take them to the next level. All BJ Callahan has on his resume is look, he won a Gold Cup, right? It was a Gold Cup that he won while Berhalter was out on whatever. Correct. It was. on holiday or whatever it was when they decided to look all over the world just to come back to Berhalter. Did he really change anything from what Berhalter had set up? Or was he just not making the dumb decisions that Berhalter makes? Either way, he's from the same camp. I don't like the Berhalter camp either. So BJ Callahan taking over as the head coach of Nashville, it's not a good replacement, guys. Someone, please tell me I'm wrong. Shea.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. He doesn't have a track record, and I think what's kind of getting caught up is that people see him from the Jim Curtin tree out of Philadelphia. Again, right. Pat Noonan came from there. He's successful with FC Cincinnati, and this way of thinking is such an American way of thinking, right? Oh, this coaching tree, and the reality is he hasn't shown much, right? What are you going to do when you need a team or you need a coach that can essentially lead a team that's already been, let's say, it's shown success and get them over the hump? And usually with that comes a guy that has that experience. So that's the Jose Mourinho that comes in, right? Takes a team and puts them into the Champions League finals. And I don't see that with Callahan. And with all due respect, it doesn't mean much when you're an assistant on U.S. Soccer. It tends to be that you are a friend or you're close to the head coach. So I'll give you this for example, is a good friend of mine is CJ Brown. He's an assistant coach with Chicago Fire, as a legend there. And he was a U.S. first team assistant, senior team assistant. That doesn't mean that CJ was going to be ready to step into a head coaching role. I think he can do it. But the reality is that comes from having a connection already with that head coach. So I think it's overblown. US, they have the players to win games. It's almost like hard to screw up, lose. When you lose, I don't know how US loses to some of the teams they do when you have those players. So I think you're just taking a bad performance by Berhalter, and hey, anything looks better than Berhalter of 2023 or 22 or whenever it was. So,
I think it's important for you to look at, the fact that he is under the curtain tree. I mean, when he was with the Philadelphia Union, because, he was there for a little bit of time as well. I know a lot of it, he focused towards team defending, set piece analysis, some player development and scouting. But during his tenure there, the club went, to the Open Cup final in 2014, 2015, 2018. They reached the MLS Cup playoffs 2016, 2018. And that laid the foundation, for the 2020 MLS Supporter Shield and the advancement of the 2022 MLS Cup final. I think it is important to note that he does have some MLS coaching experience, not just US coaching experience. He did work quite a while with from 2010 or 2012 on with the Philadelphia Union in their U17 and their main team. So he has a lot of experience working with a team, maybe more behind the scenes than he was necessarily in the full head coach position. But he does have some of that experience, and I do think that is relevant to how we are playing our game and how we're wanting to develop our game, because the Philadelphia Union we saw this year alone has a very similar setup to the way that we've set our team up.
I'm sorry, I would have to disagree, because the Philadelphia Union Academy is absolutely stout. They've been producing world-class talent for years now. When you look versus Nashville, it's night and day.
It's a newer academy also, but
BJ was playing or coaching some of the best players that come out of the States. So again, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think, and if I don't know why we're still talking about this guy, it's a rumor. There's so many better candidates out there. I'm sure he's a super nice guy. But
well, who would you rather have, Shea? Since you weren't on with us when we were talking about this, who is the coach that you would rather see in Nashville? I'll give you a top 3.
It's tough for me to say, because I'm not how do I put it this way? I'm very big on the sporting director and the president working together on that, because they know the glue that can put that team together. When I tend to recommend a coach as an agent, it's a little bit out of this selfish behavior, right? I want my guy to get the job, and I try to make it make sense. So I'm avoiding a bias. And I mentioned this to you guys earlier. I would take a younger coach between 35 and 45 that has European playing experience and not MLS playing experience. And there's a difference that's showing now, that you can have a young American head coach that understands the game, but is able to translate European style into the MLS ecosystem, so to speak.
All right. Well, Tunji, tell me, man, like, do you think that the BJ rumors are just rumors, or do you think this is actually going to come to fruition?
No, it's not coming to. I don't know, man. Knowing Mike Jacobs, he might do he might swing for the fences and do some wild stuff. But
why is this rumor? I don't know. Tell me, why is this rumor popping up?
Well, I'll tell you why. I actually know why this rumor is popping up, and this is what makes it even more like mind blowing to me, that it's persisting. People are tracking the Ingram family, the owner of the team, are tracking their jets, and they keep seeing that like there are some going to Chicago, which I think is where BJ Callahan lives right now, or whatever it is. And somehow through these jets that they're tracking, they've connected BJ Callahan through these jets. It's some pretty wild stuff, man.
It's some real Twitter
super tangential. Like these people have those little boards with all the strings attached, and you know what I mean, they're
like it's like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like
yeah, that's what's going on. So it's not really
whose
real.
plane is it? Just wondering.
The
John
Ingram. John Ingram. So he's the owner.
He would have nothing to do with it. All he does is sign. All he would do.
Well, they're saying that he's gonna fly. He's flying people out for interviews. That's what they're saying. I can see Shea doing
that makes sense, right?
U.S. Soccer headquarters is Chicago, so I mean it's moving to Atlanta if it hasn't already. But
it hasn't yet, but it will be soon.
Yeah, it's not a thing. Sense. You mentioned somebody before we started, and actually I think Austin's been bigging them up too. Who was that?
I'm not saying I want him, but I think he would be a great coach in MLS, and that's Ben Pirrman from Charleston. So I've worked with Ben on a bit of a basis, of course, agent side, when he came down, if I'm not mistaken, from Michigan State. He might have even come in as an interim coach and took a very low budget Memphis team to the playoffs, did really well. And then Charleston poached Ben. Charleston has the last couple of years a significant budget, and Ben took Charleston to the finals last year. His style of play has been great. They're scoring goals. They're leading the league again.
Yep.
As a club, the guy just wins, and he's doing it understanding how to put up number. I mean, score goals, defend.
Is he a super aggressive, like on the offensive side, or is that his style, or could you describe his style?
He's pretty balanced, honestly.
Yes, and that's exactly right. Now, on the other hand, from a lot of players and coaches I've spoken with about Ben, he's difficult to get along with. Some players like him, some don't. Some directors like him, some don't. Maybe that comes back out. And I mentioned Ben before, but Ben has worked in Tennessee. He has the network here, and Charleston's not that far from Nashville as well. So I will say this, is he's done a good job of moving talent from USL into the MLS. So if you want to talk about BJ Callahan's experience with that, I think you have to look at Ben's, and Ben's done a fantastic job of signing good talent and developing them into MLS starters.
So do you think that we should, based off of what you said earlier, do you think that we should be looking more on like the American, like USL level? You think we should be looking more like European Championship?
Yeah. I think it's time to drop, and I've mentioned it off screen, is right now there's two downward trends with coaching that we're seeing that can always change. First is longtime coaches in the US are struggling, okay? And you can just look at places like Sporting Kansas City and New England with Vermes and Porter. And the other is players that have MLS playing experience and then go into a head coaching role. They're usually pretty young in this case, have also done poorly in the last 3 or 4 years as well. It was kind of the hot thing, but you look at Sandro Schwartz over at New York Red Bulls. He's a great example of a younger coach that comes from a European playing background and turned around a really bad Red Bull team. And guys, you'll be surprised, they haven't usually had a great budget either. He's not playing with house money, so to speak. He doesn't have a lot of house money to play with. Brought Forsberg over, but he's a great example of. And there's a list of others of success with coaches and Sharundalo that played in Europe and brought their style into the MLS.
What's the difference between I guess a European coaching style and maybe a American one?
Well, that almost depends on the league we're talking about. In Germany, it's a very quick paced style. If you look at Sandro Schwartz, that does put a lot of focus on goal scoring. Germans are traditionally incredibly technical, something American players are not near as fine-tuned in. Or you look at the English Premier League, which is more methodical ball movement, defend your goal and wear the other team down and win those 2-0 games. So it depends on the league, but at the end of the day is a great European coach has been in those systems before and knows how to implement it into new environments.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get Mike Jacobs on the horn and and see if we can get him to I think Shea, yeah, bro, you got his number, man.
I have his number, but the argument is always, oh well, they don't understand MLS. So I'm not saying don't bring in an American coach. I'm not saying that, or I'm not saying don't bring in one that doesn't understand. You could bring in those coaches that are assistants, right? With a lot of successful coaches now in the MLS that played in Europe were actually MLS assistants. That's also okay, in my opinion. It's just what we're seeing right now is a successful factor into the current head coaches. I
was just gonna say DC took our assistant and signed him as a head coach, and they're sitting 1 point behind us. So they've got 4 wins, 6 draws. We're at 4 wins, 7 draws. So not very far off.
Well, DC took one of the directors from Nashville, and their head coach Troy came from Red Bulls. But I know what you're saying is they've also found ways to improve.
Yeah, well, dude, I think I feel like Nashville is going to take a long time with finding their next coach, just because if we look down at Huntsville, it's 2 separate organizations, but I assume that they're kind of running a little bit.
They're linked.
Yeah, they're linked. Ian Ayre is he's still he's like in charge of both, right? So I feel like the way that they're gonna move with this, Huntsville's been out of a coach for God knows how long. It's been a minute.
April 9th.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
they were out of a coach since April 9th. We were out of a coach April 16th or something like that. So
no. They let go of Steve whatever.
Or excuse me, May 16th.
Yeah, May. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
April 9th, I believe is when they let their former coach go. And was it Berra? I think is the new guy's name, the interim guy's name.
Christophe Berra, yeah, Christophe Berra, who's not doing a better job. The old coach was Jack Collison, but let's keep it Nashville focused. I think because of just what I'm seeing with that, Nashville's going to take a minute, man. So they've got time, which
I think they're trying to make a methodical move.
That's for the best, bro. That's for the best.
They're winning.
I mean,
we're
three
not
out of the
losing.
last 5
We're not
games have
losing.
been. Hey, 3 out of the last 5 games have been dubs. So
yeah. Well, we're definitely in a better place than I feel like we were a month ago. So
mediocrity
May's
gets
been
you to
a
the
long
playoffs
month.
in MLS. So
yeah, we
just
reward
get back
it.
into that.
We actually
3 out of the
reward
last 6.
mediocrity here. Yeah.
That's for another day.
That's for another day, another time.
Yeah.
What?
So we'll see about. You're right. I don't think there's a rush. But one thing that I would fully expect is a coach that comes in and understand new styles of play. And I will tell you this on an agent side, and I'll end it with this: is I have never seen a need so from clubs as speedy wingers and goal scoring wingers, and that's regardless of the system that these teams are playing. So we're now looking at players, and you're probably going to be looking at a coach that can use players to create chances, not just as a number 9, but hey, we're going to push our guys forward. And I think that's where Nashville's been missing, and they're going to try to glue it all together and put something. And maybe we have the pieces in place, and we just need a new coach to direct it. But I think that's what we'll be looking for. And hey, take your time.
Yeah. Well, I do know that it is important for us to. Oh, yeah. I think it is important for us to take our time with that. But when it comes to our time here, I do believe we are ready to wrap it up. So, guys, thank you for listening in to another episode. This is episode 31, I believe.
Yes, sir.
31. We're keeping it going. It's rolling like crazy, guys. It's awesome. A full calendar month long. Thank you guys for sticking around. Please make sure that you join into the Mixtape 615. If you want to jump in, run this pitch with us, get on the pitch at Nashville home games. It's awesome. Come out to our watch parties. We'd love you have you there as well. Do all the awesome player opportunities that we've got when it comes to like trivia we just won the other day, and all of our opportunities to get to hang out with them. We want you in with us. Go to mixtape615.com. That is mixtape615.com. Join in there. Follow us on all of our social medias on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at mixtape615. Thank you to Doug Branson, our producer. We could not do this without him. He is seriously the MVP for all of Nashville of all time, in my opinion. And from all of us here at the Mixtape 615, keep it real, keep it rocking. Until next time, this is the Mixtape 615 signing off. Deuces.